What is up, everybody? Skratch coming up with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Welcome to the channel, everyone. We got a couple of things to cover in today's video, so we're gonna start with the 10x event that's gonna happen this weekend. And honestly, I feel like everybody in the entire community were jealous when Skratch pulled that OP champion last weekend, and they were like messaging Plarium on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Discord. We want to get that champion on the 10x right now because we all want it. So I'm here to stop you guys. Do not do that mistake, okay? I'm going to walk you through the entire event in just a second. Then we do have the path of the Clover starting tomorrow, which seems to give us some juicy rewards. We have a big stone, we have a legendary skill tome, we have a chaos ore. As usual, you know it. You're gonna see it live on the channel as soon as the event drops. I'm gonna try to complete it and kind of like see how many resources we wasted in order to get all the juicy stuff from there, or pretty much everything in the event, you know. Keep an eye for that in the next 19 hours. That being said, going back to the 10x event, we're gonna start with the 10x Void legendary that we're gonna have on the event tomorrow. And I know a lot of us need to open shards for the fusion. So if you're going for the Elhain fusion, right, you will need to get some fragments from here if you haven't managed to win some of the tournaments before, which probably is the case for the majority of people. And don't open voids, man. Don't do it. Don't do it because you might regret it. The 10x champion is no one else but this beauty, Supreme Athen. My god, I know that you guys were jealous last weekend that Skratch pulled Athen, and you were like, yes, Plarium, we want her too. So she is the only Void legendary on the 10x. I'm really surprised that they haven't made a guaranteed for one of these starter champions. What surprises me even more is that we don't have a champion training for one of these champions either. So keep that in mind as well. I know we don't have a champion training event for the fusion starting today. Tomorrow is quite a bit of a gap. And we have the Path of a Clover event instead. But seems like nothing for the champions. If you guys haven't checked my guide, my review on Supreme Athen, feel free to check it out. I can't really call it a guide. It's more of a review because honestly, she wasn't really useful as a champion. You can use her as a freeze champion, but it's just so overrated. The A1, we know what she does. The A2 is a big mess up. If this was the other way around, places the freeze first and then does all the rest, it would have made more sense. Her multipliers are the lowest out of all the 4 Supreme starter champions. Another thing to keep in mind. Yes, her attack is a bit higher than the rest, but still not enough to justify the low multipliers. Increase attack, increase crit rate, and a shield buff on the champion. If you have a lot of attack, the shield value is actually pretty good. It's not bad, whatever shield she gets, but just not feeling her vibe. The passive, she can land a freeze on the attacker if she's hit while under a shield. If she opens with an A3, she's gonna be fine. If you have a shield champion on the team, again, she should be fine. But honestly, it's just, yeah, it's kind of like it's not much stuff to tell you. The aura is for arena battles only, not even for all battles around, you know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I know a lot of you guys are filthy Pokemon collectors and you want to fill your Pokédex and you might open shards regardless, but what do you think? Are you gonna pull shards for a Supreme Athen? I'm curious to know that. Very curious, actually. Then, moving over to the champions that actually matter this time around on the 10x. And of course, they're from Sacreds and Ancient Shards. Now, I forgot to mention this at the beginning of the video, but keep in mind, the chances to summon legendaries are still miserable. The chances to summon epics are still miserable. So, 10x doesn't increases the chance to summon epics or legendaries. Keep that in mind, especially if you're new to the game. And we have no one else but Mashald. Awesome champion. We can definitely say he's a very powerful champion. The A1 can become AoE if you attack enemies under leech. And he's gonna land leech with the A2, increase speed, increase attack on all allies, and through fear and leech on all enemies for 2 turns, which is definitely very, very nasty. grants an extra turn on a 3-turn cooldown. And we have the A3, which smacks pretty hard, attacks one enemy, 80% chance of stealing all buffs from the target before attacking, places a heal reduction, and places continual heal buffs on this champion for 3 turns, 2 of them. Damage increases by 50 against targets that have no buffs. Definitely very, very nice. Attack aura in dungeons by 34%. A champion that's worth it, 100%. You can use him in Hydra, you can create some clan boss teams with him, especially if you don't have a team that's already sorted out. He can potentially help you in there. For arena, for dungeons, faction wars, like yeah, plenty of places. Great Doom Tower wave control as well. Plus you're getting the increased speed, which is massive. The next champion that we have on the 10x, actually again a very strong champion, is gonna be Kyoku. She was guaranteed in an event before. She was maybe even in a champ training tournament, if I remember it correctly. She's definitely a solid one. It's kind of like a Seeker on steroids with a much better kit for tanks, you know. With the A1, attacks one enemy, will place 3 hits if the target is under 3 or more debuffs. Each hit has a 40 fully booked 50% chance of placing a weakened debuff for 2 turns. Then attacks all enemies, lands decrease attack. After attacking, has fully booked 100% chance to land HP burn if the decrease attack didn't land on the enemy. So if you build her without accuracy, you're gonna land HP burn instead of decrease attack, most probably. And this is on a 3-turn cooldown too. Then we have the A3, ally protection on all allies except this champion, and places a block damage buff on this champion for 3 turns and grants an extra turn on a 4-turn cooldown. Very, very powerful skill. She hits pretty hard as well if you build her right. And the passive, which kind of like resembles her with Seeker, every time this champion is hit with a critical hit, heals all allies by 15% of their max HP, then places a 60% increased defense buff on all allies for 2 turns. And this as well has a cooldown of 4 turns, which is definitely not too bad. Defense aura for all battles, exactly what you want. Great for clan boss, great for arena, great to tank pretty much in all the content, you know. The next champion that we have on the 10x, guys, I'm not a big fan of this champion, honestly, but look-wise, he looks pretty sick. It's gonna be no one else but Mr. Samson. He looks freaking awesome, right? Like, design-wise, he's such a cool champion. I'm not a big fan of him because the multipliers seem decent, but again, he's not better than Magnar. So with the A1, attacks one enemy 2 times, each hit has a chance to land a stun. With the A2, attacks all enemies, removes all increased defense buffs from enemies before attacking, places an extra hit if this attack kills an enemy. Yeah, you feel me? You see where I'm going? That's the problem with the champion. It's a bit too conditional for that second hit. To kill an enemy in arena is pretty hard, you know, and if you're not doing it, you're not gonna get the extra hit, which is a bit of a shame, you know. I wish they were doing something different on this skill. He could have been such an amazing champ. Then places increased accuracy on all allies for 3 turns. Also places an increased crit damage buff on this champion for 3 turns, then grants an extra turn. Again, you see, it's nothing spectacular in here. It's just increased accuracy on allies, increased crit damage on himself. If he was doing something a bit more spicy, like, I don't know, increased crit rate, increased crit damage on all allies, grants the extra turn, it could have been a bit better, you know, and keep the increased accuracy. It wasn't gonna be OP either. I'm very curious to see his reviews, actually. Yeah, they're not that great. Definitely not great. Not amazing for dungeons. For faction wars, yeah, like most of the champions are good in faction wars. And the passive decreases the damage this champion receives from critical hits by 20%, counterattacks the attacker when hit with a critical hit, has a 50% chance of counterattacking the attacker when hit with a strong, normal, or weak hit. This is an interesting passive, so I definitely like the passive, but I'm not a massive fan of the rest of the kit though. And the passive increases ally defense in all battles by 30%. He's an HP based champion. This is a bit odd. It's not bad to have defense, but considering that he's an HP one, would have been nice to have more HP to make him deal more damage, you know. Moving over to the epic champions that we have on the list, we're gonna start with the epic one, and I Feel like a lot of you guys might be tempted by this. I feel like that's why they put her with Supreme Atel. Seer is gonna be on the 10x as the only Void Epic champion, if I'm not mistaken. She rocks, right? Like, she's... No words to describe her. That's how powerful she is. And this Karma Burn, kill her with full crit rate, tons of crit damage, give her some accuracy if you can, to help you on the waves in the Doom Tower, and my god, she's gonna destroy. Savage crit damage set, the way to go for her. Creme de la creme. Not much to say about her. Like, you guys know how powerful Seer she is. Melts waves like crazy. Taras is a bit better now, but he's a Void Legendary, and he's a bit... I think he's a bit harder to play him around in most of the situations, but still very, very powerful. That's Seer. The next champion that we have on the 10x as epics, guys, is gonna be no one else but Deacon Armstrong. So with the A1, has a chance to land Leech. With the A2, attacks all enemies, defense down, AoE on a 3-turn cooldown. What makes him so special is this skill right here. Fills the thermometer of all allies by 15%, decreases the thermometer of all enemies by 15%, and then grants an extra turn, allowing you to rotate straight to the A2 and land that defense down, and then have your nuker to come in and just bang them down in arena. You can use him in clan boss if you don't have a seeker, or even with a seeker if you're trying to lower the speeds on a team. There are lots of amazing tunes out there, and he has a speed aura for all battles, 19%. He's one of the best epic champions in the game all around. Definitely a top 20 epic in my opinion. If we're gonna move over to the next one, we have Seeker. Talking about him, there we go. We have him on the list as well. It's kind of hard to figure out a team for this 10x, right? Like, we have thermometer, we have increased attack, we have defense up from passives, we have... I don't know. I don't think we have a team this time around. And it's been a while since we didn't have a team, I think. No? Correct me if I'm wrong. Seeker, the #1 MVP for clan boss teams when we are talking about 2-to-1 ratio. This skill right here fills the thermometer of all allies by 30%, places an increased attack, and grants an extra turn. On a 3-turn cooldown fully booked. This enables so many teams in clan boss, guys. If you don't have a Seeker and you need to open shards for the fusion, this might be your chance to put your hand on it. It's honestly a game-changing champion, and even now, just thinking back in the day when my clanmate Napoleon discovered him for clan boss, was like, what? You actually use Seeker in clan boss? Get out of here. And my god, what a freaking beast. With the A1, he has a chance to land Provoke, and the rest is not that impressive for PvE, but for PvP, you can use him in the lead in a go second team with a shield set or something, and his passive is gonna come in play, giving you increased defense. You have the defense aura, enabling you to keep the team alive. And moving over to the last champion that we have on the list, guys, from the Sylvan Watchers, is gonna be no one else but Miststrider Deity. I feel like it's been like 2 weeks since we had him on the 10x. I might be wrong, but it definitely feels like yesterday. So he's gonna be great for faction wars, this champion. Attack based, with the A1 attacks one enemy, has a chance to remove a random buff from the target, and a 10% chance of granting this champion an extra turn. The A2 attacks all enemies, lands a defense down, grants an extra turn if the defense down is placed on all enemies, which is definitely pretty nice. You're gonna need a defense down for faction wars if you wanna farm it faster. And this skill on a 4-turn cooldown places increased attack and increased accuracy buff on this champion for 3 turns, then grants him an extra turn. All around, guys, I feel like the non-void champions that are on the 10x are pretty juicy. Definitely we have some strong champions in here, some big names, let me put it like that. Let me know if any of you guys are tempted to open shards for any of these champions. I will have to open a few to get some fragments, so if I hit any of them, I'm not gonna complain. I'm probably not gonna open my 4 voids, even though I'm far off from the Mercy. Or actually, I will open my 4 voids because I just got her and I cannot get another one back to back. So for me, will definitely not be another Atel if I pull a legendary from void. So I'm gonna open my voids, and who knows, maybe I'm gonna get Supreme something else now. Supreme Hane, my god, hopefully not. But that was all for this video, guys. Much love, appreciate all of you guys watching, and I'll catch you all soon in the next video. Peace.